Well, good evening, folks. Welcome back to the farm. Boy, what a lovely evening it is today. Although the air is a little thick. Yes, it's dealing with a lot of smoke coming from the wildfires. It's kind of had a bit of a greenhouse effect here this morning. It was cooler in the morning, but as the day progressed, the air got thicker and thicker, and it just got hotter and hotter and hotter. So I think we're sitting at 36 degrees Celsius right now, which is, it's up there. It's no 40 degrees that we were getting there last resurgence of the heat wave, but definitely this go around, it's very toasty. It's on the verge of being unbearable. But no, today we're going to talk about productivity. So my wife said the other day, she said, you know what, sometimes you're just overwhelmed, don't feel like getting anything done. And I said, well, just pick 5-minute jobs, right? If you've got yourself a half an hour, that's all you've got in the day, or 15 minutes even, right? Just pick, 3 5-minute jobs. Maybe all you get done is load the dishwasher. Maybe all you get done is go get the mail. Maybe all you get done is your quick feed the chickens, feed the pigs, and that's it. That's all you get done in your 5 minutes, right? But you're being productive. A lot of people look at a 5-minute window and think, well, I really can't accomplish much in 5 minutes. But if you did 6 5-minute jobs, that's only taking you half an hour, and here you got 6 things done. So productivity, you know what, if you just take small bites, you can actually be quite successful. Now on the flip side of that, sometimes you don't want 6 5-minute jobs. So what I'm doing today is I got to do a little bit of spraying, and so our sprayers over there, side by sides in the shop, the two aren't connected. I got to fill it, I got to mix chemical, I got to do all that. So I'm not looking at a 5-minute job. And I've been dancing around this for probably a couple of weeks. Not dancing in the sense of just didn't want to do it, but dancing in the sense that I just couldn't make enough time come together. And that's what happened today. I was committed to this morning. I got conned into going to Grand Prairie, and so here we are now. It's like 7 o'clock at night and I still haven't got it done. So I just got to be like, no, I'm committing to it. I'm going to take the hour and a half that it's probably going to take to do this properly, so that this isn't one of those things where I just do 15% of it really, really poorly. And when I do 50 little jobs, 15% of them really, really poorly, and that's what I do with my hour. I'd just be better off to just dedicate my hour to doing this one job properly, and that's what I'm going to do tonight. Well, I'm all done spraying for the evening, and I just want to show you what we're dealing with here, because talk about prioritization of time. We are dealing with this stuff here. Yes, this is scentless chamomile, aka Mayweed. It's a noxious weed. This beautiful little daisy-like flower was actually introduced to Canada in the 1930s from Europe as a garden flower, and as you can see from behind me, it's in the garden. It's everywhere. And so this little flower head here alone, this one flower head, can produce 300 seeds. Now the minute the flower has flowered out, the seeds are active. So I mean, it's really, really hard to get ahead of this stuff. So the minute it's flowered out, it's probably already too late. You've probably already got active seeds. Now you get a stand like this, one plant can have 1 million seeds. Now, if you get a stand of them in an area, a bunch of them in an area, you can have as many as 1.8 million seeds in a square meter. So you can see how this stuff is a noxious weed. Now, the seed, when it gets in the ground, is it's viable for like 12 to 15 years. So the plant itself, this plant, is an annual or biannual, right? So within 1 to 2 years, that plant is gone, but it's replaced itself 1 million times over. So this is why, so what we're spraying today was actually a residual herbicide. We want, and there's some folks that are probably going to be dead against that, and that's fine. It's a problem that we've got to deal with over many years. It's a problem we walked into when we bought the farm here. We had no idea this was an issue. We bought it in the winter time, and everything was white. We weren't expecting in summertime that everything would still be white. It's just not supposed to work like that. But anyways, so yeah, so we are selectively spraying in certain spots to try and get rid of it. There's a field that we cultivated out to the west that's become quite a problem. And so how do you get ahead of this stuff? Well, I mean, tillage is one way. So if you can till late spring, early summer, you know, when the plants just start to come up before the flower heads form, you can usually knock it back. So if you're going to keep your field in crop essentially, and you're tilling every spring, then theoretically you could stay ahead of it. But you'd have to do that, like I said, for probably 15 years until you can kind of weed all that stuff out. The other option that you can do is, because it doesn't compete well, right? Because it's you know, up in a stand of grass like that, once it's out, it does good. It does really well in the yard here because, I mean, the chickens dig and scratch and they remove a lot of the competition in some areas. But down in the pasture, well, if you get a good dense enough hay crop, this stuff just can't compete, and you can actually, if you stay on top of it, you can actually choke it out. So the problem with that management style, and we've even seen it in other areas of the farm where the hay land or the pasture land has actually, the grass is choked out the mayweed, is where you put a salt lick down and the cows gather around there. And you know, just the surface just gets scratched just that little bit, and the grass just gets removed ever so slightly. Bunk, 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 bunk. Pretty soon, you know it, you got a little white patch. You got somewhere you got to manage, right? So it's like running around chasing an old pair of jeans, just trying to patch up, you know, the knees and the elbows and the pockets and all this stuff. So every year we kind of have to spray select patches. We sprayed the yard site here last year. We just had to spray it again here this year, just today. And I'm thinking that field that we tilled under last year, we might have to spray again next year. I was thinking about doing it this year, but the father-in-law says, well, we should probably see if that hay seed will actually come in a little bit better next year. So we'll see how that works out. But boy, I tell you, it's a make work project. One that, in all honesty, if we would have known to the extent that this piece of land, we probably wouldn't have purchased it, to be honest. But this is the decision we made. It's the cards we were dealt. And that's what we have to work with, unfortunately. You know, I just remember one other little fun fact about Mayweed, our favorite little plant here. You think if the cows come in and chew it down that you'd be able to control it, right? Because then they're reducing competition for the other grassy plants that can come in and replace it. Well, the issue is when they eat that one plant that has 1 million seeds, 25% or more of those seeds are still viable when it comes out as manure. Now, a cow, on average, will produce 50 pounds of manure per day. So, you know, if a quarter of the seeds stay viable, say they just eat the one plant, if a quarter of the seeds stay viable, now you've got 250,000 seeds spread around your field amidst 50 pounds of fertilizer. So you can see why this magical plant is a bit of a problem. Anyways, enough complaining about Mayweed. I'm gonna go move some grain here now. Just got 3 buckets of grain, 1 bucket of pig slop. So as you know, we're heading off to get a few well-deserved days away here shortly. And we're gonna have farm sitters come in and watch the farm for us. We're just trying to make things as easy as possible. And one of the things we did is rigged up a bulk pig feeder. So I'm gonna fill the bulk feeder tonight. And then right beside the bulk feeder on the outside of the fence, there's a wheelie bin like you have for your garbage in town. It's a wheelie bin, and it's full of grain also. Now, that's something that we don't keep full throughout the remainder of the year because we keep our bulk bags of grain in that grain shed there. So why don't we, you know, keep a supply out at the pig pen or at the chicken pen and the chicken house? Why don't we do that all the time? Well, because I got to drive right by that every single day. And it doesn't make any sense for me to have to fill up a week's supply in that wheelie bin and then come back and fill it up every week when I got to drive right by the grain shed every day, and I can just fill my bucket and go. It's much easier for me. But short duration is something that I can do to make it much easier for our farm sitters They don't want to have to pack pails. They don't want to have to rig up the side-by-side and fool and fart around for very, very long. They can come out here, spend a couple hours, chores are done, and away they go back to doing what they're doing. So I just got the pigs their slop for the evening, and I'm wearing a bunch of it, which smells super good, but it's all right. Nature of the game, I guess. Anyways, this is the bulk feeder. This is actually a lamb crate feeder that I bought it at an auction. And I thought, what can I do with this? And the lambs weren't really interested in it, but we bought these pigs. We ended up getting like 5 pigs last year, and we were only supposed to get 2. And I was trying to figure out a way that we could go away for a couple of days, and this was the option. So what I was concerned about the other day was, how could I get these pigs that have never eaten out of this, and they've been fed slop every day since we've had them. They haven't had to eat dry feed. How am I going to get them to eat out of this thing? Well, I thought, well, if I just layer some tasty treats in the trough down here, then they'll be sure to go sniff it out, and they'll figure it out. Well, I didn't even have to do that. Literally just put it there, and as you can see, I mean, because pigs are messy eaters, right? But they figured it out. So this should hold about a 4 or 5 day supply. So we're going to top this up with the 3 buckets that we've got there, and that should well, that'll keep them till midweek thereabouts, and that'll be perfect. I'll just top it up one more time before we go. Bob's your uncle. Well, I feel like that's maybe all I'm going to be able to accomplish for one evening. I also feel like, strangely enough, it might be too hot out for a cup of tea, so maybe I'll have to have some iced tea. Nah, that just isn't going to do it. Anyways, I'll worry about that on my own. I'll let you go for now. I hope you have a fantastic evening, and we'll see you tomorrow.